Scott Holiday here, and welcome back to Plus 2 Wrestling. If you don't know this about me, my favorite time of year is Mania Week. During Mania Week, I try to watch as much wrestling as physically possible. And if you follow me on Blue Sky, which you should, I keep a running list of what I think the top matches are. I watch a match, I update the list, I go back to watching wrestling. And the idea was I would eventually do a video giving you the top 10 matches of Mania Week. And I've never successfully done it. Because there's so much wrestling to watch, and then I gotta record, and then I gotta edit. It's too hard to do. But it changes today. Today, I'm going to sit here and tell you the top matches of WrestleMania Week. I've tried to watch everything, from WrestleMania to Stranglemania, from Spring Break to Spring Break through. And these are the top 10 matches of WrestleMania Week. Mentions. I'm going to just call this segment Mentions, because they're not going to be honorable or dishonorable. These are just matches I wanted to talk about that didn't quite make it to the top 10 that I think are worth bringing up. Like, first and foremost, there was the Big Gay 4-Way. There was a 4-way match at the Big Gay Brunch that saw Allie Katch's last match in GCW, and also possibly the retirement of Kid Bandit. So I have to bring that match up just because of how important it is to the landscape of professional wrestling. I want to bring up Sami Zayn versus Trick, because that is my pick for the worst match of WrestleMania Week. What was that match? Like, they kept trying to say that Sami was the heel because he took the WrestleMania moment away from Carmelo Hayes. But how did he do that? He won a championship. Like, this is wrestling. The goal is to win championships. And now we're supposed to be mad at Sami Zayn because he took a Mania moment away from Carmelo Hayes? Which, if we're that upset about it, where were the Carmelo chants? Why wasn't Carmelo Hayes involved in any way? Instead, we got Little Yachty, who interfered on behalf of the babyface so that they could steal the win? Like, we live in a time where we understand the kayfabe nature of professional wrestling, and to try to tell the audience, oh, everyone's mad because Carmelo Hayes doesn't have a match at WrestleMania. We know in our hearts that the reason he doesn't is because you didn't book him. Why are we blaming Sami Zayn for this? And for the love of all that is holy, I just want to cheer for Sami Zayn when he wins the world title. I know he can do a good job as a heel. I know he can have a good match. This wasn't one of them. But I just want to cheer for Sami Zayn when he wins the big one. Please don't turn him heel. Please don't let him win the world title as a heel. I just want to cheer the man. Another match that I have to bring up is the Immortal Clusterfuck, which was in my top 10 for a very long time. It was probably one of the best clusterfucks I've seen. They've done 10 of them, I believe. This was the Immortal Clusterfuck. Every clusterfuck has too much just downtime where just like, we're getting to the next part where there's like a big moment. When you have something like 70 people in a match, you're gonna have that. But the high points of this match were really high. The stuff with the Invisible Man was good. The stuff with all of the singing acts, where you had a man like Doris and Becca all interacting at the same time. Very funny, such a good time. Speaking of the Invisible Man, I also have to bring up the Sandman's last match. The Invisible Man versus the Sandman. It's hard to call this a match. I mean, there was technically only one person in it, despite the fact that 20-some people got involved in this match. It's hard to say that this is a wrestling match, but I enjoyed every stupid moment of it. It's very entertaining, but I couldn't quite let it be in the top 10 based on how much shenanigans there were in this match. Another match that I'm very upset couldn't quite make it to the top 10 was Brody Lee Jr. versus Joey Janela. That match was really good and really showed that there is something to Brody Lee Jr. beyond legacy. He can get it done in the ring. I think it was a touch too long and kind of lost me in the middle. But for the most part, a very promising match out of Brody Lee Jr. And finally, I got to talk about the Intercontinental Ladder match. I hated this match. Like, I despised this match. First off, you have 6 people who are going to risk their bodies, shorten their careers in this train wreck of a match. And you're not going to give 3 of them entrances at WrestleMania? Like, remember when they did the IC ladder match a few years ago? And they made a big point about how Zack Ryder was walking to the ring, pointing to his head, because this was the first time his music got to play at WrestleMania. They made it a big point that just getting to enter at WrestleMania is a huge moment for these individuals, and you took it away from 3 of them. Horrible. And as it turns out, I didn't think there's anything special about this match. Like, there's a lot of, like, big crazy spots, but in the end, Penta retains. Like, it's just kind of a thing that happened. There's no big moment of we have a new champion. There's no stories that develop where someone was like this close to getting the title and then it got taken away and now a new feud can kind of develop out of that. It was just kind of stuff. I don't know. I think I might be over the big ladder train wreck as a match. I just don't think it appeals to me the way it used to. Number 10. I'm going to start this list by talking to you about the 2020 horror film Honeydew. Stay with me. If you don't know this film, it's not a very big popular film, but it is a horror movie about a couple whose car breaks down, and they end up asking a stranger for help. And the stranger invites them into their home, and there's something wrong with their fingers, and there's somebody like in the corner watching cartoons, and despite the fact that this couple just needs help with their car, this woman is dead set on cooking for them and providing them with food and perhaps a place to stay as they wait for the tow truck to come and collect their car. I hate this movie. I watched that movie and it just kind of disturbed me, and I didn't find it enjoyable. And I just remember watching it thinking, ooh, I can't wait for this to be over. This is not very good. I watched that movie 3-4 years ago. And every day, I find my mind returning back to it. I am constantly thinking about the film Honeydew. It's not a thing that I really enjoyed, but it left a very lasting impression on my mind. And that is how I feel about Effie versus Alley Catch from Joey Janela's Spring Break. This match I didn't feel was enjoyable. This was a match of 2 best friends now facing off in a violent contest where the loser has to leave GCW forever. And Allie is clearly conflicted. She keeps saying, "What is wrong with you, Effie? What is wrong? Something is wrong with you, Effie." And Effie keeps replying, "I'm fine." And I adore this Effie character. Effie has turned heel, but not in the classic, "I've turned my back on all you people who never stood behind me. You people forced me to change my ways." No. Effie truly believes he hasn't changed. He's turned into a monster. He's stabbing people with screwdrivers. But Effie, in his mind, is the same man he always was. There's something so unsettling about this match. Throughout the whole match, Effie just moves wrong. Like, he's not acting like Effie should be acting, or a professional wrestler should be acting. This match isn't perfect. There's a couple botches in it. A few things don't look right. But it is deeply uncomfortable. There are some really dark moments where Alley Catch is covered in blood and just screaming to the heavens. And Effie will not be stopped. I couldn't keep this match off the list, because when I watched it, I did not enjoy it. But I find that this is the match I think about more than anything else I've seen WrestleMania week. And I'm guaranteeing that a year from now, when I look back on this list, there will be entries that I don't really remember. But I will remember Alley Catch versus Effie. And for that, something really important was accomplished. So I have to put it on the list. Number 9. Now, when I say I try to watch everything from WrestleMania week, I mean everything. I'm not just talking about the events that take place around WrestleMania, like physically around WrestleMania in location. I try to watch pretty much anything that came out that week, like from the Monday to the Sunday. I considered extending it to Sunday versus Sunday and including Dynasty, but that was too much. So Monday to Sunday. And this one was probably the match that took place furthest away from WrestleMania. This is from Pro Wrestling Open in Rhode Island. And this is Blackjack versus Max Caster. That's right, the best wrestler alive. I had to include this match because this match is different from every match that I've seen this week. The story here is simple. Max Caster is the star. He's coming from AEW to wrestle for this Rhode Island promotion and believes that he is simply better than the people that could be thrown in front of him. And they're going to throw Blackjack in front of him? Someone who's got like a weird football face paint gimmick? He's better than that. He's the best wrestler alive. And on a week where wrestlers are trying to go all out, that are trying to impress, Max Caster went out there to embarrass. He went out there and he wrestled a much slower pace, often getting out of the ring and putting his hands up and saying, we're going to wait. On the biggest wrestling week of the year, Max Caster chose to wrestle less. It got amazing heat and got people to really believe in this new character, Blackjack. This is going to be very different from anything that you see this week. And if you want to take the time to watch this, it's on IWTV. It will not stand out to you as, this is one of the best matches I've ever seen. But from a wrestling perspective, from a trying to get the goals of wrestling done, from an architect perspective, it gets great heat, there's a great comeback, it makes Max look good, and it makes Blackjack look really, really good. Keep your eye on Blackjack. There's gonna be something big to come out of him soon. And I really enjoyed this match with Max Caster. Number 8. This is what I believe to be the hidden gem of WrestleMania week. Because when you look at like all the events around WrestleMania week, you got WrestleMania at the top, and then you have like the Collective, that's GCW, that's where you saw like Bloodsport and Joey Janela's Spring Break and JCW. They were all part of the Collective. And then like a layer down from that, there was like the Palms experience. This was something that was like a pay-per-view on Triller. This had like your House of Glory stuff. That was in that group of shows. And then there was just like a few sprinkled all over Las Vegas. There was the worst show in all of WrestleMania week, run by Dark Sheik, which I didn't watch because the video is unavailable, and I'm sure a match from that would have appeared on this list if I could have viewed it. But there was one show that showed up on IWTV, and that was Action Wrestling's We Gambled Away the Graphics Budget. This was a very small show, I want to say maybe 200 seats, and this took place at the Swan Dive. There's some audio issues, so it's a little bit difficult. You kind of have to turn it down and make your own commentary. But in this event, there is an unbelievable 6-man tag that features the team of Adam Priest, Funari, Abe, and Minoru Suzuki taking on the team of Eric Stevens, Jonathan Gresham, and Zack Sabre Jr. Now, as someone involved in professional wrestling, I love when I can see that the people in the match are having a good time. And these 6 go for 20 minutes and have a ball. You can tell that they're all doing like their best stuff, and they are enjoying themselves. They're joking with each other. It's a very intimate crowd because it's not a big venue. And it's just a really fun match. It's still hard-hitting. It's still impressive. It's a Minoru Suzuki match. It's hard-hitting. But I think amongst all the giant things going on WrestleMania week, this is a diamond that has fallen into the rough. And this needs to be viewed. So check this one out on IWTV. Number 7. Now, throughout WrestleMania week, there was a lot of death matches. Like, there was MDK Fight Club, which was all death matches. Redacted had a very crazy barbed wire ropes match that was pretty good. Mickey Knuckles had one at Stranglemania that was good. There was one that spilled out into a Popeyes restaurant featuring Beastman and Tim Strange. I couldn't watch the complete match of that, so it couldn't earn a spot on my list, but it's a crazy thing that could happen. But they were all just kind of death matches that happened. Like, I don't mean to degrade the things that these people put their bodies through. They were very entertaining matches, but they didn't go beyond that. That is until the Immortal Clusterfuck, where we had a deathmatch steel cage match for the Ultraviolet title of GCW between Otis Cougar and Matt Tremont. Now, this match had the benefit of it was a little bit later in the week. So if you watched other matches in the collective, other shows in the collective, you probably saw a promo package for this match throughout your viewing experience. And they made sure to show a lot of beats where you saw what happened to Matt Tremont. Matt Tremont was tied to the ropes, but, tried to keep fighting. Matt Tremont had his hands zip-tied together during a match and kept fighting. So there was all of this imagery of being confined, and then it ends inside a steel cage. Of course, the rest of the Vandals end up interfering in this matchup, and Matt Tremont ends up binding them to the rope so he can get a bit of revenge. This has all your broken glass, steel chairs going through doors, barbed wire that you want out of a death match, but this one also tells a fantastic, satisfying story. The moment I saw this match, I was like, this is a top 10 match. This was one of the best death matches I had seen in quite some time. It just tells an amazing story, and it is worth your views. You can check it out on Triller as part of the Immortal Clusterfuck. I hate swearing. It hurts me every time I have to say the name of that event. Number 6. Dream matches are tough because you take two great professional wrestlers and you put them together and you hope that magic can appear. You really have these high expectations and you really want something great to happen. And that can be dangerous when you have two people who wrestle a very distinct style. Like, one of my favorite wrestlers is Zack Sabre Jr. Zack Sabre Jr. is one of the most gifted technical wrestlers ever. I was going to say in the indies today. No, ever. He is a gifted technical wrestler. But that does mean if you're going to have a match with Zack Sabre Jr., you kind of have to have a Zack Sabre Jr. match. I feel kind of the same way about Effie. Effie is a fantastic professional wrestler, but he does kind of skew into a lot of gimmick moments, a lot of, charismatic, playing to the crowd, playing into his character moments. So anytime you have a match with Effie, you kind of have to have an Effie match. So the idea of these two coming together is a bit of a worrisome one. But at Effie's Big Gay Brunch, there was a Big Gay Dream match where Effie took on Zack Sabre Jr., and it just worked. Like, they just fit together so well. You get everything you want out of an Effie match, plus everything you want out of a Zack Sabre Jr. match. They kind of forget a lot of the things that happened with Alley Catch, like before, because that was like the main story. But you could say it's a dream match. This is taking place, in a dream, so it's okay for that to happen. But I still think this is a fantastic match put on by two fantastic wrestlers. So be sure to head over to Effie's Big Gay Brunch on Triller and check out this dream match. Number 5. This was a legitimate, unscheduled match at WrestleMania week. This was not supposed to happen at all WrestleMania week, but due to circumstances beyond our control, this match took place. You see, at Hybrid Wrestling X Pro Wrestling Unplugged's Midnight Express, they kicked off the Collective, and we were supposed to see the One Called Manders versus PCO. Unfortunately, PCO wasn't able to make it. So, the One Called Manders came out with his partner, Thomas Shire, and they just decided they were going to beat the hell out of each other. And they did. And it was awesome. Just seeing these two who knew each other very well really lay it in at midnight on a Wednesday was a great time. This is the match to go back and check out from Pro Wrestling Unplugged's Midnight Express. And I gotta give it up for the One Called Manders, who was my MVP of the weekend. Number 4. So I've been pretty honest on this channel that I don't have the best relationship with the WWE. I think the product's pretty bad right now. It's not a thing that I really enjoy or really pay attention to that much. But it is WrestleMania, and I watched all of WrestleMania, and I thought it was pretty bad. But I gotta give it up for Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. This was a WrestleMania main event. These two just let it all on the line, really showing off that they know how to construct a match to really hold on to the fans. And the finish of CM Punk hitting the go to sleep, Roman falling onto Punk's shoulders, Punk getting him up again, and not being able to do it because his body just fails him, 'cause he's old. That was incredible. This was a really good match, and for a really long show that really worked hard to get me to disconnect from the product, to get me upset about ads and booking decisions and lengths of matches, for them to be able to grab me is truly an impressive feat. So the main event of night 2 locks in a very nice spot on the Mania list. Number 3. Now, I looked back at some of my past WrestleMania lists, and I noticed a trend, and that is that I really favor Bloodsport. I think Bloodsport is always the most fun event WrestleMania week, because there's always like 10 matches, and they're short, and they deliver, and they're unique. I love Bloodsport. For the most part, I thought Bloodsport was okay this year. Like, I didn't have any major problems with it. It's just, there wasn't a lot of things that, like, really stood out to me as, like, a huge moment or a groundbreaking match or anything like that. Except for Natty Neidhart versus Shayna Baszler. Two girls who knew each other very well, coming from the WWE with something to prove on the indies, absolutely demolishing each other. I love this match. Like, I can't think of the last time I saw blood in a women's match in the WWE, like, on purpose. Like, I know they broke Becky's nose, but that wasn't supposed to happen. Just seeing these two very talented wrestlers with the shackles off, going ham, putting on a display. It's one of my favorite things that I've seen. I might come back to the WWE if you put Natty Neidhart on my screen in a consistent basis. This Natty Neidhart. I don't want Natalia. I don't want the girl who farts or the cat lady. I want this ass kicker on my screen. I love this match. It's so good. It's worth going back and watching all of Bloodsport, especially since this is apparently the final Bloodsport. But man, they went out with a bang. Number 2. Now, I said a bit earlier that the MVP of the weekend is the One Called Manders. I saw the One Called Manders wrestle a few matches, and every match that he made better. But if I had to pick the MVP of the Indies, the best thing that I think that's going right now on the independents, without a doubt, I would say KJ Orso. And if you don't know who KJ Orso, you formerly might have known him as Fuego del Sol. KJ has been telling an amazing story on the indies about losing the mask and really embracing the darkness within him, and feuding with Sam Stackhouse, who is now rejoined with KJ to form a very devastating tag team. And they told a great story where Marco Stunt was trying to retire, and they destroyed him. So Marco Stunt now had to find an old friend and brought in Jungle Boy Jack Perry. And they called themselves the Jurassic Express. The Jurassic Express versus KJ Orso and Sam Stackhouse is my number 2 match from Joey Janela's Spring Break. I mean, they did the whole Jungle Boy entrance with the school bus and Luchasaurus driving. It's so good, and I love just the size difference, because I love a big guy wrestler. I don't think there's enough big guy wrestlers out there, and Sam Stackhouse is one of the best ones going right now. Just the visual difference between the sizes of Jurassic Express and KJ and Sam Stackhouse is so impressive, and they put on a great match, tell a great story. There's a moment that I love where KJ is considering stealing the AEW national title that Jack Perry brought to ring and using it as a weapon. And there's just something so devious of being like, KJ, you can't touch that. You don't even work there. They fired you. And just seeing him stare at that title and get angry and think about the people around him. Oh, the facials, the emotion in this match is so good. I feel like the crowd should have given it a little bit more. I think the crowd was a little tired because they had been going to wrestling shows for days on end at this point. But I love this tag team match. Check it out on Triller. Number 1. I spent a lot of time thinking about my number 1, and there were times where Jurassic Express versus KJ was my number 1. There was a time where, honestly, Max Caster was my number 1. Basically, everything on the list had, at one point, crossed my mind as being number 1, except for Effie versus Alley Catch. But I'm happy with this choice, because it's very clear to me that the event of the week was Joey Janela's Spring Break. And I know that this makes me a hypocrite, but my number 1 is the Grab the Brass Ring train wreck ladder match. This match is incredible. First off, the one called Manders wins, as he should. He's incredible. Give him all the titles. Bear Bronson's in this. I really like Bear Bronson. He's really coming out on his own. There's some great moments with Vipress in this. Teriyaki is really starting to pick up some steam. He could do a lot of athletic things that I can't believe. Shotzi Blackheart should be getting all the flowers all the time. But what I love about this match is within the first couple moments of this match, they break the top rope. They set up a ladder, somebody falls onto the ladder, and it snaps the top rope clean off. This match should be a disaster. And it's not. They manage a really good wrestling match despite all this. And there's a lot of things in this match that I should hate. I hate ladder matches where you don't climb a ladder. I hate pinfall ladder matches. I still love this match because the match dynamic changes where it's like, oh no, the top rope is broken. What do we do? But not in a way that makes it expose the fact that they can't do the spots that they have planned. It feels like a group of competitors in a violent contest adapting to a new situation and still fighting tooth and nail to win the matchup. This is a really cool match. It's got a lot of unique spots in it. I think it is far better than the Intercontinental title ladder match. And I just love that something went wrong, but it just adds to the beauty of the match. So I'm going with the Grab the Brass Ring match as my number 1. But what do you think? Was there something from Mania Week that I missed? Am I wrong for putting Alley Catch versus Effie on this list? Based on the cage match ranking, I'm very wrong. But I put it at number 10 for a reason. Let me know what matches you think I should check out in the comments down below. And hey, while you're down there, give me a little bit of a subscribe, and then you'll get a notification when I make a new video. And on top of all of that, I hope you have a great day.